My name is Amankwa. I'm married to Eric Otu Amankwa, but most people call him Sena. We've been married for, it will be 5 years this October, which is crazy to me. And what I do for a living, I'm a fashion business consultant, which means that I work with fashion brands and my main focus is helping them to scale and improve their businesses. So we met when we were in university in Legon. We're both in Legon. We are age mates. It wasn't like he's not some older guy I met somewhere. So we used to see each other a lot, right from level 100. But I was dating someone at the time, so he was just a friend. I think he was also dating someone at the time. But we just used to see each other. We were friends. But I think the very first time we met each other, I went to visit my friend called Ya at Sarbah Hall. I don't know if we went to Legon, but I went to visit a friend called Ya at Sarbah Hall. And there was this bread and egg seller outside. There's a bread and egg seller outside the hall. So I went there. I was at her place and I went there. I was hungry. And then he was the friend of mine, another guy that I knew. So we started chatting. And then after that, we were always seeing each other. And then a couple of years later, I think when we were about to enter 300, we started dating. So this might be a little different, but I didn't, first of all, it took me a long time to see him in that light because we were friends for a very long time. And he was like my best friend. We were really, really close. So I always saw him as like, even when I realized, okay, maybe there's some feelings here, I always felt like, well, even if nothing happens, this is somebody that's going to be in my life forever regardless. Like, he is meant to be in my life, I'm meant to be in his life. Because we actually started dating, I think, 2 weeks before he left. He went for a year abroad in France. So it was crazy to all my friends because like, why are you guys dating now when he's about to leave for a year? But I was like, I really wasn't worried. So I was like, if it doesn't work out, he's still going to be like, that's my buddy. Like he's still going to be my friend. So when I knew that he was the one, I would say right from the beginning, but not necessarily the one in terms of like, we are going to be married and live, but this is my person for life in whichever capacity. Right from the beginning when we started becoming close friends, not when we were dating, I was like, he's going to be my life forever. But he was the one I was closest with. I've always had guy friends that I've had good relationships with and we've been really close, but I think it was just like the best friend factor, the person that you can talk to about everything. Like we always talk to him about everything. All the foolish mistakes I was making with guys, all of like, all those things, family issues. I used to talk to him about everything. So I think it was like the best friend factor. That was what was different. I think it was hard, but I think we did long distance twice. Later, I also traveled for I think a year and a half. That time I think was harder for me. When he traveled, eventually along that, it became really hard. I just couldn't wait for him to come back. But in the beginning, it was, because like I said, best friends. So we were still talking every day. On my way to class, I think at that time, WhatsApp, I'm not sure if it was really WhatsApp, but there was a thing called Viber. There was an app called Viber. We would chat, we would video call on the way to class, after class. We're always chatting. So only difference was I wasn't seeing him physically. But then I would say maybe like some 3-4 months into the long distance, I was like, please come home. Please hurry up and come home now, watch it. Yeah. And then I traveled a couple of years later when I went to do my master's. That I would say was harder because now we've been together for a long time. And then I have to leave again, and then it was like I'm really feeling the distance. So the second time around, I don't know if maybe it's different for him, but for me, that second long distance when I left, I would say was harder. It forces you to communicate because that's like literally all you have is talking. Like you're not going anywhere, it's just talking. It's not like, it's not even like, sometimes you're with someone and maybe they're not chatting, but then they're just with you in the house, you're doing different things. you have to talk because, you know, the person is not around. Even though sometimes it would actually be on FaceTime and he's doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing, but it still kind of forced us to learn how to communicate and talk through issues, because like it's easy to be like, oh, we are fighting, you're not around, it's okay, let's just break up. But it's like, what do you really want? What does he, are we really trying to make this go somewhere? Okay, if we are, let's discuss it, let's fix it. So, I mean, this is Ghana. I feel like there's nothing like a surprise proposal, you never saw it coming. Okay, I hear it happens. I hear it happens to me. I haven't personally seen some. And I think for all my friends too, it was like, you've kind of already discussed. So we already knew we wanted to get married. It had, you know, we'd been talking about it for a long time. When would be the right time, all of that. So when he proposed, I was surprised because I thought, we already know we are getting married. Like, we already know we plan on getting married. So I wasn't expecting like a proposal down on one knee situation, which happened. It was my birthday. So that was, I think, 2017. We got married in 2018. So it's my 27th birthday. We were supposed to go out and he was running late. So he was like, I should come over to his place. And I was annoyed because it was my birthday, we were supposed to be going out. So I was waiting in the living room. He was just chilling. He was taking a really long time. And then I think his sister was like, you know, Sena's calling, he wants to come and check something in his room. When I opened the door, it was dark. I was wondering why he was in the dark. And then I realized, I saw the ring in the dark and I realized he was down on one knee and then he proposed. All I remember is seeing the ring in the dark. I can't even remember much of that moment, but I just remember that I was surprised. I started crying. I was confused. It was so many different things because I had been annoyed the whole time. I'm so surprised. That whole dinner, I was just like in shock. Then we went out. To dinner. So I was just on cloud nine the whole dinner. Over a year. It was over a year. That was my birthday, and we got married in October. So for me, I was really blessed because I have two friends who one of them isn't anymore, but two friends who at the time were planning and styling weddings. So there's Jeanette, her business is Jevents, Jeventts, I think Jevents. And then Eno at the time, so Jevents she still does some planning and styling when she can, but Eno, she's not doing that anymore, but her business at the time was Rain Concepts. And she initially started out doing kids events, purely just kids events, and then eventually she started doing for adults on a select basis. But now she's doing her own thing. She running her own businesses, very successful, very happy for her. But at the time, the two of them, like, I wouldn't have been able to do it without them, because and I know people have horror stories about working with their friends and family for weddings, but I feel like mine was the opposite, because they were so helpful. I didn't even know what a running order was, like that I need to plan out my whole day, which was helpful. There were hiccups on that day because we did both engagements and the blessing on the same day. But if she hadn't like helped me put that running order together, I don't know what would have happened. So she but she helped me out. She wasn't coordinating it, but she helped me out with that. They helped me choose my vendors. I think probably even worked with me to choose like my fabrics and stuff. Jeanette was very hands-on with the engagement, everything that had to do with styling the engagement. And because my mom was not understanding, like, why do we need someone to come in? Just get some 2 chairs for you. Just get some 2 chairs for you and Sena to sit down. Why do you have to get a nice chair? Like, my mom was not understanding the whole, like, we need to style the space, make it. She was like, just find some balloons. And she wasn't understanding. So so Jeanette was super understanding and like helped my mom to see the big picture, or helped me helped me to communicate to my mom to help her see the big picture. And on the engagement day, my mom was so happy with how it turned out. So I was like, you see, Like you were saying, we should just find balloons, but have you seen, like, it's really, so she was really, really happy with how everything turned out. But yeah, so that year and a half was enough time for us to plan. I don't think we could have done it in less time because we're also busy. It's not like all I was doing was plan a wedding. I was working, he was working, you know, everyone was busy, coordinating schedules, going to check out venues and stuff like that. It took a long time. He was pretty involved. I mean, for him, a lot of the things is just like, you just decide. But then there were things he was very specific about, like music, the drinks, the food, the party side of things. He was more interested in the party side of things. As for like vendors and my side of things, he wasn't too interested, but the party, because for him, he knew that like that's where his boys are coming to have fun, all of that. So he was more concerned about, would there be enough drinks, who's doing the music, blah, 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 blah. So he was more on that side of things. Also, when we were in university, he and his friends used to organize events, actually. They used to do parties. So that's also why he was more interested in that side. But I did most of the planning. But yeah, he was, I'll say like 40% involved. Do a budget. And then as you're actually spending the money, see, are you out of budget? Are you under budget? Because that never happens. Everything was over budget. But that Excel sheet was helpful because at least you had something to look back at and be like, okay, if we are spending more on this thing, and things were much more expensive than I thought, even though I had been, given guidelines, had budgeted, but everything most things ended up going over. But the good thing was like, okay, if we spent more on this, maybe let's take this thing out. Or, well, now we know we need to find an extra 5,000 because we've used that extra 5,000 for something. So that was really helpful. We were always looking at the Excel sheets. I think initially I had wanted like 150 or something people. And my friend Jonas was like, that's never going to happen. Your family alone is almost 150. And I was like, oh, we can make it happen. And then, of course, we realized it wasn't going to happen. My mom especially just kept on, my parents were complaining, especially my mom. She was like, I have to invite this person, and auntie this, and all my friends, this. I mean, my mom wanted to invite everybody. And like neighbors that we don't even really talk. She's like, oh, but there's something happening in the house here, so you have to invite them. And I know. So we ended up doing, I think, 400. But we kept the traditional. Like I said, we wanted to just do traditional in the beginning. That was Sena and I. And then have a party, like a reception. But then we ended up doing a small reception after the traditional because, people had to eat. And then we went to the venue, another venue for the blessing and the actual reception. So for the one in my parents' house, which was the engagement and then the small reception there, I can't remember the number, but it was much smaller, of course, so that was just family and close friends. But then at the main one, came up to about 400, I think. We did physical so we tried to do it strictly by invitation. And to an extent it worked because we also, to an extent it worked because I think we didn't give out the invitation cards late. And also it's like there's a table number on it, so we are told exactly where to sit, all of that. But then towards the end of the thing, it was kind of like, because there was still some space. So some people that had RSVP didn't come. So it was just like, and it ended up being fine. My worry was that there will not be enough seating and not be enough food, but there was like more than enough of everything. So I think the fact that we were very strict in the beginning about it being strictly by invitation, like I had to tell my parents, if this uncle said they can't come, they should give back the invitation card and let's give it to someone else, I think that helped. So we didn't run out of seating. What a friend of mine told me was, her relatives came and it's like, okay, you've given me the invitation card, but I am like, we are 10 people. It's me, but I have to come with my kids. I have to come with this person. I have to come. So it is one invitation card for us. So that's like 100 people you've invited, it's like 500 because everybody is coming with like 10 people. Some people didn't RSVP. For some people, I had to call and check, are you coming? Will you be able to come or not? I wasn't able to call everybody though. I tried, but it was a lot. So I called some, and then at a point I was just like, whatever will happen will happen. At this point, we've done everything we can, and everything ended up turning out okay. So it was fine. I think we were roughly 10 of my girls and 10 of his guys. It could have actually gone way above that. I can't remember if it was 10, but it was around there, because my husband has too many friends. He knows a lot of people. So for him, it was like, oh, but I want to add this person, I want to add this person. And I was like, mine is 10, like we've reached. So these are the people I want to be there. I would rather we just, because we also didn't want it to be too huge. But we still ended up having quite a huge bridal party. I think it was probably like a normal number for engagements. Engagements is usually a lot of people. And usually for the white wedding, it would be smaller. But because we didn't have a white wedding, we kept the same, we just had a blessing. We kept the same guys and girls who did our traditional for the blessing as well. And managing them was, I think there was no drama or anything that I remember like between the girls. Okay, the only thing I can probably think of is when it came to selecting songs. I think we were selecting, so we had to choose, are they all dancing in together? Are they dancing in as couples? I think that was it. So we had to choose songs, what song each couple would dance to. And that, I think, wasn't even drama. It was just disagreements on, someone was like, no, this song is old school, nobody dances to that anymore. And and some people were offended, but it wasn't any serious drama among the girls. And actually, come to think of it, I just realized his boys were more. I just realized they were more than the 10, because I think it was like 2 guys to a girl or something like that. I just remember. So his guys were more than my girls. I'll say maybe most annoying experience for me was my mom. I had told my mom that it was a friend of mine that was coordinating the blessing part of the event, but she was coordinating it together with my church ushers. So she didn't bring her team because I was trying to cut costs. So she didn't bring her team. I asked her to kind of take charge of the church ushers and then, coordinate with them. I think I had even given my mom her number, in case of anything, call her, if anything is, because I'm going to be taking pictures, I'm dressing, all of that. My mom called because apparently there was an issue. There was supposed to be a brass band playing before the DJ starts playing. There was a brass band and there was a DJ. So the brass band was supposed to be playing during that period where we were taking pictures, and then after that the DJ plays. But I think there was a mix-up. The DJ was playing, so the brass band wasn't playing. And the brass band, there was my dad's people. So like, why are they not playing? And they are calling me to ask me these questions, and I'm not even there. Like, my mom was calling about the brass band, about the food. How come the small chops they brought are finished? How come this? So many things. And then the pictures were taking long. They knew we were taking pictures, but I think in their mind we're just taking some 5 pictures or something. Not like I come to take a whole pictures with your girls, the guys. So my mom was calling, then my sister would call. It was just pressure. And I was so frustrated. I think that was like my breaking point. I just started crying. At a point, I couldn't even hold my phone. I had to give my phone to my maid of honor, because like just asking me questions. I'm like, Mommy, I'm not there. I can't help you right now. So yeah, I broke down. I was crying because I was like, can I just have peace on my day? So that was an annoying part of the day. It started getting stressful, like I was saying, with the calls and everything as we were waiting to start the blessing. And because we did everything the same day, I hadn't factored in that because my girls were helping during engagements, they didn't have time to eat while everyone was eating. So by the time we got to where the blessing was, most of them hadn't eaten, they were hungry. So it started off rocky, ended up being really fun, but it started off rocky. But if we had actually just ended at the engagement, I think it would have been perfect. So yeah, and also the engagement was intimate. It was what I wanted originally. So that was definitely my highlights. And also, like, you know, by the time we were doing the blessing, I had already seen him. But the engagement, like, you see him coming and all of that, and he was looking good with his hat. So it was like, that felt very, it was a highlight, yeah. But by blessing, we were tired. We were tired. Dark red and gold, or wine and gold, yeah. We had the kente custom made. I have a friend who makes kente. He weaves kente. He can do different types of woven fabrics, so he can do like the Nigerian ones and all of that. So we chose a pattern and he made it for us. Looking back, I would have stuck to my instincts and just done a small intimate engagement with our friends, our close friends and family, and then done the reception at my parents' house. I think even though like I said, the reception was fun, but I feel like it would have just been simpler that way if we had just kept it that way. Also, that leaves more money for the honeymoon, because another reason why we had wanted to do everything in one day, we were also planning our honeymoon. I think we left just like a couple of days after. So it would have made things simpler if we had just done that, rest, travel, and then, you know, go and enjoy yourselves, and then come back to reality later. Up until this point, honestly, I think what has worked is the friendship. I'll come back to the friendship, because we are busy people. We are both busy people. And now we have a child. There's a lot going on. So I feel like it's the friendship that really keeps things still together, because it's not the short time you have together. I guess friendship and communication goes together. The short time you have together, like, what are we talking about? Are we catching up with each other? Are we still like making time to laugh and to have fun? He's better at that than me, because I feel like I get stressed. I have so many things to think about, but he will be, you know, making jokes and still trying to like tickle me and those fun things. But I tend to just be like, I'm so stressed and I'm focused on what's happening around us. So I would say the friendship, really. Yeah.